I put 11 dudes in a group chat for 8 weeks to see if they would chase their goals and keep each other accountable. And it didn't work, but it kind of did. And that's what this whole video is about. We can see if we look at the data, the boys sat around 50% goal achievement for the entire time. We had a standout week at week 7, but in general, we have about 50% goal achievement for the entire 8 weeks, which means that over time, being in the group chat did not make people more likely to accomplish their goals, and my hypothesis was wrong. But there's more to it than that, which is why this video isn't 28 seconds. The point of WiseDown, of this channel and the company I'm trying to build around it, is to research mental toughness for dudes. The problem is there's no research being done on mental toughness, especially not for dudes, so I'm doing it. The point of this experiment is to research behavior change. We know that sleeping better can improve mental health. We know that physical exercise can improve mental health. We know that eating better and getting a better group of friends, surrounding yourself with great people, all these things and many more can improve mental health and mental toughness, but none of it matters if you don't know how to change behavior first. So that's what we're doing here. Goals are essentially the basis or the beginning of behavior change. So we had 11 dudes, each dude gave me 2 goals, and then we spent 8 weeks trying to accomplish them. We had goals like go to the gym 3 times a week. We had goals like cook a new recipe once a week. One guy even had a goal to compliment a pretty girl once a week so that he could build confidence and go on dates. And I definitely have to make a video about that because it worked surprisingly well and he's crushing it right now. I also forced the guys to make mastery goals, or goals focused on the process rather than the outcome. So instead of saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, it was, I want to go for a run 3 days a week, or I want to stick to my meal plan 5 days a week. There's some evidence to say that mastery goals or process goals are better for achievement than outcome goals, but in reality, I'm kind of lazy, and I just wanted it to be easy for me to track. I also encouraged the guys to send pictures in the group chat when they went to the gym, when they studied for the LSAT, whatever. I'll be the first to say that this study design is poor. There's a small sample size. It's impossible to tell if someone's lying or not in this group chat. Every single person is a longtime friend of mine, which is a definite conflict of interest. There's just so many confounding variables that it's impossible to draw claims or conclusions based on this experiment. But I did notice some patterns that have genuinely helped me understand how I accomplish goals, and more than that, why I fail goals so often. And that's what this video is innately about. Looking at the data, again, the boys sat around 50% goal achievement the entire 8 weeks, right? We had that standout week at week 7, but in general, we're at 50% goal achievement the entire time. Something interesting though is that group chat activity dropped off right around week 3, which is normal. Every group chat fizzles out. But if group chat activity had been driving goal achievement the way I thought it would, the way I hypothesized, then we should have seen a drop in goal achievement with that drop in group chat activity. But we didn't. Goal achievement stays steady even when people stop texting in the group chat. And it brings me to my first kind of lesson here, which is quit telling people your goals. This has actually been proven before. A 2009 experiment did a number of studies separating people into 2 groups, a group with known goals and a group with unknown goals. Across the board, people with unknown goals worked harder, both in effort and in hours worked, than the people with known goals. And even though they didn't work as hard, the people with known goals always thought that they were closer to achievement than the person with unknown goals, which tells us that telling people your goals can cause a false sense of accomplishment that undermines actual effort. There is an asterisk there, which means there's an exception to the rule. A study by Ohio State University showed that if you tell someone who's socially higher up than you, someone you respect or someone you look up to, and then you don't accomplish it, you fear they judge you, you fear they look down on you. That fear can be a powerful motivator to actually get to work. Now remember in the beginning I said this experiment was a fail, but it also kind of worked. This is the kind of part, and it has nothing to do with the hypothesis, and it's a pattern I noticed after the experiment was done, so this is technically a post hoc analysis. At week 8, I realized that this study didn't really work the way I thought it would, which means I have to kind of go back to the drawing board, change what I'm testing, tweak a few things, and then try again. So I asked the boys, hey, would anyone want to try again? And every single person said yes, which really surprised me because a lot of these guys had failed many, if not most, of their goals for the 8 weeks. So I just figured that they were done and just kind of still doing it as a favor to me. I realize a fatal flaw of this experiment is that I'm talking about goals in the context of success and failure, without any leeway in between. I was taught that goals should be binary because rewards are binary. but looking at goals like that actually has robbed me of the ability to appreciate progress, which comes through huge in this experiment, and I'll show you with a couple examples. One guy had a goal of reading 10 pages every day for the entirety of the 8 weeks. He had 0 total weeks reading every single day, which meant he had a success rate of 0%, a complete failure. But among all those failed weeks, he spent a total of 30 days reading. If he stuck to the bare minimum and only read 10 pages a day, he would have read 300 total pages in 8 weeks. That's more than most people our age read in an entire year. Another guy had a goal of studying 9 hours per week for the LSAT. He only succeeded on 2 of the 8 total weeks. But if you add together the hours he studied on all of his failed weeks, you actually get a total of 23 hours studying, which is a ton. And if you add his 2 successful weeks, that's 41 total hours studying in 8 weeks for the LSAT. That's a ton of hours. That's genuine progress. I can't tell you how many times I have set a goal and then failed it once, and then failed it again, and then completely given up. Even if I make some progress, I don't technically hit the goal. I count it as a failure in my head, and then I just give up on the thing entirely. Every single guy failed at least once during these 8 weeks. Many of the guys failed more than they succeeded, but they kept making progress. And you should see the way the guys talk about failure in this group chat. It was never shameful, it was never judgment, it was always, we're bouncing back, we're crushing it next week. Consistent failure in this experiment was a viable way to make actual progress towards succeeding at a goal. Many of the guys attributed this group chat to making progress week after week, even after they failed. In the end, success and behavior change is about consistent effort. It's not about winning every time, it's about not stopping. Which sounds like really obvious now that I say it out loud, but it took me an entire experiment in 8 weeks to figure that out for myself, which now that I'm saying that really kind of pisses me off, but anyway. So if you have a goal, maybe get some of the boys together, make a group chat, try not to feel too good about yourself when you tell people your goal, and just fail epically and often, but don't quit. And if you like the vision, if you like the idea of researching mental toughness for dudes, then consider subscribing and liking and commenting. We have a bunch of stuff coming out. I have round 2 of this video coming out in 10 weeks after we redo the experiment. I have a marathon video coming out in a couple weeks. Screen time videos, focus videos, all kinds of stuff about just being better. The goal is to make men mentally invincible. That's what I'm here to do. There's real research that has to be done in order to get there. So if you believe in the vision, then a great way to support us is to subscribe and come back next time. I don't know how to end videos.